Namaste learner, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this series, we are analyzing June 2024 UGC NET economic paper starting with public economics. Let's crack it one question at a time. This question wants to pick up options that shows the correct historical order in which these 5 taxes were introduced. In option A, commodity transaction tax. This tax was introduced in Union Budget in 2013-14 by Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. It is a small tax levied. Levied means officially imposed by government on trading non-agriculture commodities like gold, silver, oil, etc. On commodity exchange like multi-commodity exchange and national commodity and derivative exchange. I also mentioned national commodity derivative exchange because it mostly deals with the agriculture commodity. But you may be thinking why I mentioned this. Because there are few non-agriculture commodities like steel, fertilizer, etc. are traded on this exchange. So the commodity transaction tax would apply there too. So I'm going to explain this by giving you a real life example, how this tax actually works. Let's say Rakesh is a trader living in Mumbai. He has a trading app. One day he decided to try something new, like trading in crude oil. But he's not buying real oil barrels. Instead of, he goes to the platform called multi-commodity exchange and buy future contracts. This contract said, I will buy crude oil at the 6,000 per unit in future. And total value of the contract is, for example, 10 lakh rupees. As soon as he clicks to buy, the government charges him a small tax called commodity transaction tax. This money is automatically deducted by the multi-commodity exchange and sent it to the government. In 2030, the government noticed that people were trading gold, silver, just like shares to make quick profits. So it is imposed commodity transaction tax. This tax reduces risky trading and increases the government's revenue. So, for example, during the starting phase of Russia-Ukraine war, oil prices become very unstable. Thousands of traders in India were buying and selling crude oil futures. On every such a trade, the government earning commodity transaction tax, even if there is no oil was delivered. Let's see second option, security transaction tax. So this tax was introduced in 2004 through the Finance Act during the Union Budget presented by the Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. So it is a small tax that government collects whenever you buy or sell shares like stock of companies like Tata, Reliance, Infosys on stock market through exchanges like Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchanges. You can think of security transaction tax like a toll tax. You pay every time you enter or exit a highway. Similarly, you pay small fees every time you enter or exit stock market through buying and selling shares. This tax automatically collected on stock market transactions so that all traders are legal, traceable and tax declared. So government introduced this tax to stop black money from entering to the stock market and track the income and make transaction easy and clean. Let's see option C, banking cash transaction tax. In early 2000s, the government was worried that people are withdrawing large amount of money, cash money, and using this cash for black money like bribe and unaccounted transaction. So in 2005, the government introduced this tax to track large cash movement and promote digital and formal transaction and discourage black money. So this tax was collected by the government. When you withdraw large amount of cash from your bank account, this tax applied only to the cash with the withdrawals, not to the digital payments and checks and online transfers. It was discontinued in 2009 and shifted focus to other tools like PAN tracking, cash transaction reports, etc. So let's say option D, minimum alternate tax. So this tax was introduced in 1997 by Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. This is back tax rule for the companies. It was ensured that even if company uses various deductions, exemptions and loopholes to reduce its income tax to zero, it still has to pay some minimum tax on its actual profits. It applies only to companies, not to individuals. So before this tax, large company in India earning huge profits but paying almost zero tax and legally, but by using this clever tax planning. So in 1997, the government, if the government said if the company showing big profits in financial reports, it must pay at least minimum tax, not matter what deduction they use. Okay, so let's see option E, angel tax. So it was introduced in 2012 by Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee. This tax applied on extra money received by the startup and above its actual value. For example, Raksha is an entrepreneur from Bengaluru. She has a small startup that builds eco-friendly packing. One day, the investor offered her 1 crore in exchange of some shares of her company. So Raksha is thrilled and she gives him shares. But income tax department steps and says, your company is worth like 30 lakhs and why did someone give you 1 crore? So they treat the extra 70 lakhs Raksha's income as a Raksha's income and say pay tax on 70 lakh at 30%. So now Raksha may have to pay 21 lakh rupees. So now as a tax, even though it was genuine startup funding. But now if the startup registered it with the Department of Promotional of Industry and Internal Trade, they are exempted from this angel tax. So this is the analysis and solutions and the correct option. This is a basic explanation you can see, and these are the key takeaways you can read on it. Thank you so much.